So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's great to see such a big audience here today. I hope everyone can hear me and see the screen. If not, just let me know in the chat so we can make sure everything is working fine. So to start, let me just very quickly introduce us. For those of you who are attending for the first time, I'm Diana. I'm part of PDFix team, and I'm excited to welcome you today. And I'm joined by my colleague Josef, and together we will walk you through some of the insights on tagging complex PDF tables using our accessibility tool PDFix desktop. During the session, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the chat by clicking the question mark below your screen or question mark below your screen, and we will definitely get to them at the end of the session. So we are really happy you could join us on this table tagging session. These topics actually comes directly from your feedback, so it's great to create sessions that focus on what you are interested in. So please keep these ideas coming. It really helps us make this session more useful. And so, now finally, let's get to tables. We all know that working with PDFs can be really challenging. And for those who daily work with them know that complex tables can be especially hard to handle and tag. So accessibility isn't just about getting the tags right and passing validation. I think you all will agree that it's mainly about making sure the content is meaningful, easy to understand, and that it provides all the relevant information this specific audience really needs. And that is basically our main focus here at PDFix. We create tools to make the tagging process faster and more accurate, so you can focus on creating accessible content without wasting useful time. And tables in particular are one of the most time-consuming areas for remediators, requiring attention to details. And basically, that's why we are here today. We'll share our tools and techniques for tagging tables, show you what these tools can do, how they can help your workflow, and how much they can simplify the whole tagging process. And also, Josef will show you some of the automation in creating table summaries. So and also the great thing is that we've already received some really nice feedback from our users who say these tools are saving them hours of work. So let's show you how all of this comes together. Josef, it's yours.
Thank you, Diana, for the exposing welcome. So also from my end, welcome everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I will go directly to the topic. So today we have a webinar about tables, like Diana mentioned, and we will show you following techniques or tools that we have available within PDFix desktop. So first, we're gonna deal with tagging simple or complex tables using a tag tool. This is useful tool for tagging an untagged content. Simply something it's situations when you need to retag completely some content as a table. This is probably the way you go or the way to start. Second example will be fixing the accessibility issues with already tagged tables. We will be showing you how you can use the tag tool for specifying the header cells, associated cells, and so on and so on. And of course, we will touch the automation stuff, and there will be two useful actions, two useful tools you can use within the PDFix desktop is defining the scope headers with a single click. And the last thing, using AI, we will generate the table summaries. This all can be used within the PDFix desktop. A short disclaimer at the beginning, we are not presenting how to tag tables. It's up to you. We understand that each company, each remediator professional has its own way of tagging tables. We see a lot of differences in the techniques, how you generate the tags. This is about presenting what tools you can use to achieve your desired look of the structure. So let's go to the point number 1. I've got a document here, which is an untagged document. It's a quite simple table. This first example will be really simple as well. So we can use the table tool, which is here on the top. And table tool has the ability to create a table in such a way that you will just drag a rectangle around the content, which should be used as a table. It will automatically recognize the content, and it will provide you the initial layout, how your table could look like. You can see that small differences between the colors of the cells. With the dark green color, you can see detected headers in the table. You can check if headers are correctly detected also in cell properties. Here you can, of course, adjust more advanced properties of each cells according to what is necessary. Of course, you can similarly, you have access to modify the properties of the cells directly by selecting the cells and use the content menu. On the top, we have a toolbar which shows you the number of rows and number of columns, which is very useful when you need to check in case of more complex tables, when you need to merge cells. Sometimes the automated detection of the table and cells does not recognize the layout on 100%, but you have the ability to check this. So in this table, there is not much to do except for checking these header cells, which are already set. This is also a header cell, and what we can do is we can just select another set of the row header cells. So we can specify the row header, and basically, because these other headers already have a scope of the column, we don't have to do anything else, and basically we can work the tagging as a table here with this button. So once we do this, we generate a table tag which shows us the structure. You can see these thin lines representing the scope of each cell. This provides you a visual information on how the table was structured. This green color represents the data cells, and what's even more useful, you can turn on turn off the header cells and differentiate by the color in case there is any missing header. We will show that in another example. So basically, we can finalize the work with this document and continue tagging. Our table is complete. Let's move to another example. This will be again a table tool, but it's going to be a little bit more complex table that will include also associated headers. So we will repeat again. Okay, so let's try again. Select content. Okay, so now we got the table. As you can see that this table merged some cells, and it's clear that some cells, some columns especially, has been generated, and we have the automated way created 11 columns, which is not correct because we will expect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Because some cells may be merged together, it is a good practice to split the whole table just for the purpose of designing the columns. So after we split all cells, we can clearly see how many columns has been created, and simply we can delete those columns that are not necessary. This way, we will adjust the layout into a state which we want to have. So now we've got 5 columns. We've got, and we can also adjust rows just to be sure that our table will be, the layout of the table will be correct. If some rows are missing, we can simply add new rows, and this way we can design it. Okay, so now I think the table is ready. So we can see that we have one header cells in here. For this table, I will just remove the scope, or I will set this to data cell, and I will show you how to set up these header cell using an associated cell. So for now, we can continue by specifying header cells. We can select these 4 headings on the top. We can set them as a column header. Similarly, we can specify these 4 cells on the left side as a row header, because and we want this cell to become an associated cell of these 4 columns. So we can simply right-click again, add associated header, and we can define by another click, we can define the associated header for these 4 cells. By clicking on the cell, you can see the highlight tells you which is the header cell for the selected cell. So we can then repeat the same in this area. Again, set row header, and we can add associated header and click on this one. The last item will be set row header, and probably that will be enough. Now, as in the previous case, we can confirm the table creation, and we can click on the table. We see that the table is correct. We can also check each cell on the left side, so we can see that the header cells are set. Also in this properties view, we can modify each cell according to our needs. Okay, so that was the table tool. Let's move to another example, and we will follow up with the tag tool, and we will be fixing the table tool. In the tag tool, we'll be fixing over the tag table. As I mentioned previously, we are able to highlight the tables with or cells with the missing header cells. In this case, all my cells are highlighted with red color, and it's because I have turned on these show cells with the missing headers. So if I turn this on, all the cells are green. If I turn it on, we can see all the cells that are missing headings. So in order to fix this table without the table editor, just with tag tool, we'll select the table tool on the left side. Tag tool on the top. This tag tool actually works with the existing structure elements within the table, like cells and rows, whatever we'll select. But you can manipulate these interact with these directly on the page view. In this case, we will not, of course, if we want to modify the properties of selected cells, we can go directly to this properties pane and switch this to header cell. We will not set the scope for now. We will define the associated headers, and that will be just the way how we will tag this table. On the left side, we will also select these row headers, and again, we will set these row headers. Now, if we want to, when we want to click, we still have a set of cells, of data cells, that do not have an associated header. So in order to fix that, we can just select the multiple data cells, and by right-clicking on the desired header cell, we can just add this cell as an associated header, and the same I can do here. What's interesting with this function, that this function automatically identifies the cell, sorry, the row and the column, and assigns the the header cells in a smart way, and this gives you the ability to do the whole table within the single click, basically. We can repeat the same for this row. we can associate this header as a header, this one as a header, and basically for this part we can do it in a batch. So we can just add associated header here and associated header here. So now you can clearly see that all my data cells became green, which means that there is no remaining data cell without assigned header cell. And we can check the header cells by clicking on each individual item. We can do the same the opposite way. So if we click on the header cell, we can see the associated data cell to its header cell. All the colors that are displayed here can be adjusted in the preferences, and you can basically modify the color of the header cells, missing header cells, or associated header cells or children. This is very useful if you're working with the documents where different colors, and you need to clearly see what are the colors that you want to use. So let's finalize the document, and we can basically set this as an header. This set as an associated header will be here, and now we've got the table ready to be shipped, and we can continue with remediation. One additional thing which you might find useful is that when you click on any data cell, you see an associated header cells, but you also see the content, which gives you a better information about the header cells which are connected to these data cells. It's better for orientation. I think this is all I wanted to say for this type of editing, and we can now move to the automation part. We've got a document here, and this document has a lot of tables. Usually, it's a typical scenario is that when you work with a document, especially large documents, the layout of the tables are more or less very similar. So it is possible to utilize one method for fixing multiple problems across the document. And the problem within this document is that data cells are missing header cells. The solution would be probably to set the scope of the columns or column headers to column, and this should fix the problem. In order to do this, you can see that I have my header cells do not have a scope. This would be the same in this table. Let's select these cells. Okay, you can see that there is no scope. In order to set the scope in an automated way, we have a function which is set table headers. Set table headers is a function which let us modify the table headers and use when they set one of the properties, which one of the properties is scope. In order to identify which cells should be used, we can modify here in the text pane. Here in this tags property, we will set up which tags we want to modify. You can see that we have a lot of different tags which we can modify in the batch. And for this case, we could use the th tag. This th is written here with the regular expression, so you don't have to be worried about what is in there. Actually, if you pick the th, then we modify each th. But we want to make sure that not each th will be set to the scope, let's say column, because these cells on the left side also have th. So we need to differentiate between these header cells on the left side and the header cells on the top. What we see is that they have a different font. If we look at the font properties, this document, header cells on the top have white text, the font specific font size, specific font name. So we can use this information in order to identify which header tags will be used. I can just copy the properties. When I copy when I do copy, it doesn't copy, it's just a selected text, but we keep in the clipboard all the information that we see here. So now we can run the action, we can set up the TH, but we need to, I have prepared my action to set up the headers with the white text. What it means, I have written a template, the template configuration, which tells me that only TH tags with the white text will be used. If I want to add, for instance, font size, I can add another condition, and that with the font name, and simply I can paste my font name from the PDF. Of course, this prefix of the font is used for font subsets or embedded fonts. It can be removed because then we would in order to make it more universal, we can use this font name. And also, I really recommend to use the regular expressions. Those who are familiar with regular expressions, it's a very helpful tool to work with. So once I have this template ready, I can just execute this command. Of course, I have the ability to overwrite the existing scope if any exists. So if I run it, it will automatically run it on the whole document, and we can check our white headers on the top. All of them have a column header. We can check another tables. Okay, it looks like everything worked as expected. Running it for the second time, we will modify the text, the header cells on the left side. We know that these header cells, the first cells in each row is also a header, so we can just use the similar process, but with a black color. If we look at the properties, we have just a black color definition using red, green, and blue color. So, and we will set these to row headers. If we run it, we can check each header cells in the T-body, and actually it's set up as it should be. So now if we go, if we look at the table, we can see that there are no longer red cells, which would tell us that the associated headers would be missing. This action can be also executed in a batch. I will show that in a second after we move forward. So the next and last automation tool will be about the table summary. We can see that, let's take a look at some tables in the document. None of the tables has a table summary. Some of you request, or many of remediators we have been in touch request this property, and basically we found a simple way how to use the AI in order to generate these table descriptions. So let's go, because the table description is and we so-called written is executed with the so-called external action. We have to, at the moment, we only can run it on from this application view on the closed document. External actions can be managed through the action manager, and in the action manager, here in the doc icon, we can see that we have set of external actions which can be installed into and integrated into the PDFix desktop. For this purpose, we have an action marketplace. Action marketplace is let's go here. Action marketplace is a list, basically shows a list of actions that are available for integration into PDFix desktop. For our purpose, we will just copy the action name for the table summary. We will paste it here, and by adding an action, we will add a new item in the list, which will be the table summary generator using OpenAI. Once we do this, we will see this action in our table category, and this is the action for OpenAI. So now, once we have this integrated, we can simply choose our file and run action, table summary. The properties here, I will go quickly through this dialog. Here we have some input files. In case you will run it in a batch, this window will contain as many files as you have selected here. Multiple files are for execution on multiple files is available in PDFix Desktop Enterprise. In PDFix Desktop Professional, you can still execute it, but individually for each file. Here you control the output. These macros defines the original file, original path, and original file name. So technically, you can reuse the same file name, just add some suffix, or you can simply put here some output folder, like for example this one, and you can control where the output will be saved. So the properties for the table summary generation tool is OpenAI API key. On the website from the marketplace, you will find out how to generate this OpenAI, how to achieve this OpenAI API key. This table defines a table tag. It's this action is universal, so technically it is possible to put here additional tags which you want to describe. And of course, you can choose the language which you want to use. The override, of course, will override the previous value of the table summary. So after executing, we can take a look here. So the process is running. Of course, the OpenAI is using a request and communicating with the server, which means that every single table is sent for analysis to OpenAI, and we get back the message from them. So it may take a few seconds for each table. In the meantime, we can take a look at other actions which you have available. We have automated language detection action, which sets the language for the document, OCR, HTML to PDF, alternate text generation tool, and we have also two actions for validation, generating the validation report in HTML. Both of them are using one for using Vera PDF. This is a validation for PDF UA and other validation profiles. And the second is PDF syntax model called Arlington PDF model. So now the process is done. We can open the resulting document, and let's take a look at the tables here. On the top, we see something that was before, and this displays the table summary. It's just for your information that there is some table summary. We can take a look at the preparation, and you can see that each table now has the generated table summary. So, like this. So this is basically everything I wanted to present. And if you have any questions, or if there are any questions, Diana, feel free to throw them in.
Yeah, all right. Big thank you to Joseph for walking us through this, through our table tagging tools and tips for making all this easier. If any questions came in your mind during the session, now it's the time. You can do that through the question mark below the screen. So we can wait a little bit if any questions comes up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there came a question, is there some documentation on how to use PDFix? Yeah, documentation is available on our website. If you go up to our website, support PDFix Desktop, and basically we have 3 resources which you could find useful. It's a video, guys. It's a link to our YouTube channel where we present the videos recorded directly from PDFix Desktop. Usually we prepare short videos with that are oriented for a specific feature, and this is the one resource. We have a user guide where you will find, by index, you will find the specific functions that are available with screenshots and such. We also have tutorials, which is a part of our blog, which usually deals with specific topics that do not match into any of the categories above. Yeah, good question. How you can define the row header and the column headers if the font used is exactly the same? This is a good question, and using the system which I presented is currently not available, unfortunately. The system that we presented was really utilizing the differences. Sorry, the document, utilizing the differences between the font on the top and on the bottom. Of course, it was not the one. Which one it was? Sorry, it was this one. Yeah, the last one. Okay, so this our system works well for this differentiation bit by the font, but technically it is possible to use other properties, like for instance bounding box or row or column. So I will show you. Let me show you if I can do this. Set table headers, and let's look at the template we have here. Okay, so we have a page number, we have a bounding box. Bounding box lets you also define the position of the element. So if you expect that your left header cells will be on the left side, you can basically take the position. You can basically take the position of the header cell, and here in the properties you can check the right position. So any header cells which will be left from this value can be taken into the consideration when working with these header cells on the left side. Yeah, so that probably would be helpful to do this. At the moment, we don't have other options available. Basically, we do, but the options should fit into the properties which are available here. So we can check the actual text, which means that we can choose the appropriate cell by the properties like actual text, alternate text, ID, language, but also the positions like left, right, top, coordinate, ID, for instance, and such. Yeah. Is it possible to obtain the template from the modifications we make manually in the first part of the presentation in order to reuse it in successive documents whose table is structured the same? Yes, this is possible. And as you could see, I have saved my header cells with the white color and the black color. The way how to do this is that I can create a new template. This will be my first template, a new template, and I can simply, let's put here something just to differentiate. It's a bounding box. Let's keep it empty, doesn't matter. So once we have the template, we can rename the template, and basically this is my template. And once we have this saved, we can close it. And if we need to run it on multiple documents, we can just execute the same. Let's go table, set table headers, and I can reuse my template to operate in a batch. So this way I can define my template in one document and then run the whole batch with the same setup. Okay, next question. Is it possible to achieve all through template modules and use the same for a batch? Yeah, basically, I just answered this question. What if your table runs through multiple pages? Easy to point out header cells and lower data cells. Basically, the tag tool operates also across multiple pages, which means that if you select, we have a table here, which is, let's use the table tool. So basically, as you can see, we get a highlight of the whole table across pages. So this way, we can still operate on a single page, but basically switching to another page is without a problem, and we will work with the same table, and we continue that. So table which spans across multiple pages can be more time-consuming, but actually it can be operated exactly the same way like the simple tables on the single page. Possibility to artifact headers, rows, and continued text. I'm not sure what this means, but basically, if there is anything you want to artifact from the content, you can utilize the other selection tools. Which means, for instance, if you want to artifact any content, you can use either default tool, which lets you select the area by the bounding box, or you can use the object tool, which allows you to select the content by objects. Both are available, and using this, once you have this, you can just tag this as an artifact. Once you do this, this content will be removed from the text structure and it will be marked as artifact. Okay, next question. I think we answered all questions, did I? Dana, is there anything?
Yeah, there is one more at the very end from Philip.
Okay.
For the budget tables.
The two sections, revenue and expenses. Do you use those section names as an associated headers in the table row? You mean the table in this document? I think it was last table. This one? Let's see. Interesting for budget for tables for two sections, revenue and expenses. I think this is related to this one. Do you use those section names as an associated headers in the addition to the row headers for the data cell, or just use them as associated headers for the row header? I think this question relates more to the style of tagging. It's up to you to decide how you will tag this table, because if you look at the tag, basically we didn't modify this table. It came out from InDesign or some other software which generated PDF, and it generated two tables. Again, as I said at the beginning, this is not a session for telling how to tag these tables. Basically, you can choose whether you're going to use associated header cells or you will use scope attribute of the cell in order to tag this table property. I hope this answered the question.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's all.
Okay.
I don't see any other questions, but yeah, I would just say that if anything else comes up, just don't hesitate to reach out, and please feel free to email us. We will definitely get back to your question. And yeah, also, as mentioned earlier, if there is anything you would like us to cover in future sessions, again, email us, just let us know. And yeah, if then that's enough, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. Make sure to check your inbox for webinar resources. This session will be also available on our website, PDFix.net, in the webinars section, but also on our YouTube channel. So make sure to check that. And yeah, you're free to try everything we covered today. You can find the free download of PDFix desktop on our website. And yeah, so that's all from us today, I think. So thanks again, and we will see you at our next webinar. Bye.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.